Hello, and welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. We're back today with issue 73 of the Hachette Partworks release of Titanic, the ship, the legend. It's been a little while since I worked on the old Titanic. I do pass on my apologies for that, just had a lot going on. So what's in today's magazine? The Modern Olympic Games. So a few articles on the Olympic Games. They were revised by a Frenchman, apparently, Baron Pierre de Coubertin. And they were a poster about fencing. There were fencing courts aboard the Titanic, if I remember correctly. Or if Titanic Adventure Out of Time, the video game, is to be believed. That is the marathon, which apparently was more than a marathon, it was an obstacle race. So it's right there. There is the old school hurdlers. Looks more like running through people's back gardens when you were a child. Maybe that was just me. Again, tennis outfits have changed a lot, haven't they? Yep, that's it. So the whole magazine devoted to the Olympic Games. Bit of a tenuous link there, but hey, and then we're on to the instructions, which again, as always, is why we're all here. So, without further ado, let's have a look in the box. Okay, so in today's brown box, we have an LED strip. We have another connecting cable. We have two little wall pieces, which will need the portholes drilled out. We have a bag of AP screws. We have envelope number 1, and wrapped in a piece of tracing paper we have the first class entrance and cabins, which again will need the portholes all drilled out. Fortunately, I have my drill here. Just making sure that's everything. So I'm a little bit rusty, it's been a while since I've worked on the old Titanic. And inside the envelope we have a horrendous amount of windows. So yeah, we'll be fitting all of those windows. There's loads. Yeah. So all these window frames are all getting windows in them. But again, before I do that, I'm going to get my little drill. You can see where the hole is supposed to be in the door. Line up the drill bit. Just turn it. You could use a Dremel or some sort of tool. I prefer to use the hand drill purely because there's less chance of you damaging the part than with a reciprocating, an electrical tool. So there we go. That's what that looks like. Again, it breaks up the white a wee bit more, if nothing else. So I'll show you them side by side. See? It just adds a little more detail to what would otherwise be a blank white wall. So again, same on the other side. Fortunately, the holes are slightly indented. So again, line the drill up. You don't need to put too much pressure on it because it will cut quite well itself. But as you can see, it's a very thick piece. So just be patient. You'll see the white bits of plastic making their way up your drill bit, which tells you that you are making progress, and it looks like that. So I'll now need to do the same with that porthole, this porthole, and finally that porthole. I don't think there's any on the sides or on the front. Nope. So I will do that, and I will come back to you in just a sec. I won't make you watch me drill the other ones. Okay, so that's those portholes all nicely drilled out. Actually, that one isn't that nicely drilled out. Just noticed there's a bit of flashing in the inside, so a bit of the plastic must have got stuck. So there we go. And again, you can just colour them in or paint them in if you wish. The reason I choose to drill them out is because you'll then get the light shining through from the LED strips. So yeah. So as I say, what we're doing is essentially fitting windows to the entirety of this structure. Now the ones it wants us to do first is on this side. So you have 4 of the big windows and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 of the small ones along here. So again, I'll show you how I get them off. I tend to do this, particularly if it's a bigger sheet, is try and use your fingers. If that's not possible to get the first turn, use your tweezers, but I managed to get it just there. Then rock it just gently back and forth and it'll come out like that. The smaller ones, they're attached at the sides, so again you would rock them up and down instead of side to side, and again they come off fairly easily. And now what we need is a little dab of super glue. Again, the glue I use is normally is not available. I could only get, it's the same brand, it's Glue It from the range, but I normally use the vacuum sealed bottles, but they've not been available for a little while now, so I've had to make do with the small tubes. Again, I'll squeeze it into the lid off a Pringles tub, actually, my favourite snack, and I apply the glue with another hand drill, but this time it has a straightened paper clip in it. So this is how I fit the windows. A little bit of super glue on the insides, try not to put too much on. Now with the curved ones, I line up the bottom and drop it down and push the rest in, just like that. It's not difficult. And then with the smaller ones, there's actually a bigger lip on these. So again, little bead of super glue up either side. Making sure the 2 hopper windows go to the top. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Drop that in and smoosh it in flat. Just like that. See what I mean about those 2 windows being at the top, the 2 hopper style windows there. That's probably the best with a white background. So yeah, now it's just to fit the rest of these. I won't make you watch me do that. I'll come back to you once I'm done. Okay, so that's us done with that side. So what are we doing next? Is there a break from windows? No, there is not. We are in fact fitting 10 windows on the front here. So again, I'll do that and come back to you. Not a lot of sense in me showing you putting more windows in. Okay, and that's the 10 windows on the front done. Now guess what? Tend to fit the windows on this side. The remaining 17 small windows and 4 big windows. Again, I'll get them done and I'll come back in just a tick. Or just a tick for you, it'll be about 10 minutes for me, I think. Okay, so finally, no more windows. They're all glued in. Now, the little piece of advice I will give you is be careful because it's quite a flexible piece, you can see there. And while you're working on one side, if you put too much pressure, you may bend the other side and the window might pop out. Particularly if, like me, you don't use a tremendous amount of glue. So just to be careful with that. But the next thing is we need the deck over. That's us done with glue for now. We're moving on to screws. So bring over our big long promenade deck that we worked on previously, And again, this that we've just been working on is going over here. So we're going to need these screws that we got in this issue. So I'll open the bag up and get them out. Now again, this is I'm going to have a wee grump here because every single issue they give you at least one extra screw. Okay, of each kind. So here you go, fill your boots, have as many screws as you like. What they don't give you is any spare windows. So if one of these windows goes on the floor, you're spending the next hour on your hands and knees trying to find it. Yes, that did just happen to me. So a little bit of a grump to myself about that bit. So what we're doing is these pegs will line up with the slits that you can see there in the deck, and these I don't know what to call them, holes will line up with the screw posts. So again, at the moment this is still quite a malleable piece, so you should be able to line it all up. Just make sure that all those pegs are in the right place, and the screw holes should line up automatically. And just make sure it's all pushed down, and even if it pops back up slightly, the screw going into the hole will pull it down. But bear in mind it is a metal screw going into plastic. So there we go, and there we are, a window's just pinged off, as if to illustrate my point about it being quite flexible. You can see there, that window's just flown off into the abyss. So I'll get the rest of these screws put in. There are 10 of them. You can see where they're going, and I will come back to you once that's done. Okay, so that's that all screwed down, and the window that popped out has been reattached. So next what we're doing is getting these pieces here, and you can tell where they go by the 3 post holes there. It does say you can glue it if you wish, but I don't think there's going to be any real need to. So again, line up the holes, push it in. Yeah, they're snug as a bug. They're not coming out. And the same on the other side. And again, as I say, you can see where I've drilled the porthole out. Again, it's not going to do much for light on this side, but it gives a tiny little bit more visibility down the deck, as well as, you know, breaking up the big wall of white. So that's what that looks like from the front. I think it looks phenomenal. I really, really like it. The next thing I don't like so much, it's the LED strip. So again, we're turning the deck over. I could have done this beforehand, but there's a reason I didn't want to, and I'll show you that just now. So it's going in here with the plugs, these 2 plugs facing towards me, and this big massive bulb, if you look at the way it lines up, is going to stick out right into the stairwell. I hate it. I absolutely detest it, but hey ho. And again, it clips a lot more easily into place than the last ones did. But that's it all clipped in. So it's actually a bit too far forward. So we'll slide it back to make sure it sits properly in its cradle. There we go. I'm now going to turn it back over the right way, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Now I know we're not going to see this because you've got the grand staircase from the floor above, but you've now got this big, I'll lift up to show you, this big horrid bulb sticking out right in the middle of the staircase. Okay, is what it is. But that is also us for this issue. So that is us for issue 73. Okay, so that's us for issue 73. What's coming in issue 74? Not hard to guess. The next deck housing, more windows, another LED strip, and some more screws, and some railings for the deck. So yeah, it does look good. The windows are not too bad, but that's what it's looking like So the next deck housing obviously goes here. And then we'll fit the LEDs going back. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I find the windows quite therapeutic until you drop one. Once you drop one, it's not fun anymore and you just want it done. But yeah, so that's us for issue 73. Join me for issue 74. As usual, any comments, complaints, criticisms, drop them below. Please do leave me a like, because it lets me know if I'm doing well or not. And drop a comment if you fancy saying hello. Please also do subscribe to the channel, because I will have a new build coming in a not too distant future. But I'm not going to be revealing what that is just yet. But yeah, that's us for issue 73 of the Titanic. Join me next time for issue 74. Thanks for watching as always, guys. And as usual, peace out.